magic beans. Actually, just regular green beans. These won't really grow all the way to the sky for Jack to climb all the way to the mountains to the giant land, but it will definitely produce some green beans to feed your family. So today, I'm gonna give you my 5 tips on how to grow green beans. Welcome to Self-Sufficient Urban Gardening. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from seeds. So here are the seeds of the green beans. They're nice and white. And you usually just plant a few, and some of them won't really sprout. So what I have here in my backyard, I planted really just 5 because it was pretty late in the season. I planted them in late summer. And I'm now in November, mid-November already, and I already have this production here this week. So they grow a lot and they produce a lot. But when it comes to planting your seeds, if you want to grow lots and lots of green beans, even to give your neighbors or sell, then you should plant quite a few seeds. I planted 5 seeds only because it was late in the season. And only 2 of them sprouted because again, late in the season, the seeds did not sprout, a few of them. So only 2 plants really I have here, and they are really producing. So whenever you're ready to plant your seeds, you can just put them on the ground, space them a little bit because they can get quite bushy. And you can just put your finger down and bury the seeds like that, or you can just cover it with about 1 inch of soil and water it. So that's my first tip. So as many seeds as you would like plants, but basically in double, because some of them really won't sprout, especially if you're off season. Tip number 2, watering. Green beans really don't need a lot of water. They're not very thirsty, especially when they're very young. When you plant the seeds, you only need 1 good watering, and then you can wait until they start sprouting. Because if they get too much water, they're just going to drown. And then after that, maybe just once a week, especially if it's not too hot. Of course, in the summer you should water more often. But what I have here in the fall, actually getting closer to the winter, they're doing very well with water once a week only. And you see the leaves are very pretty, and they're a very nice addition to your garden just by the beauty and of course by the production of green beans. Tip number 3 is growing them high. So you can see that green beans are actually not type of plant that climbs on stuff. So you can't really prepare a trellis for it to climb. It's actually quite a low bush. So what I use are tomato cages, and these are actually mini tomato cages because the green beans really don't go too high. And I found that these tomato cages do a pretty good job in keeping the green beans elevated out of the floor. Of course, if you have, say, a raised garden bed, you should plant your green beans on the edge so that they can fall to the sides and not be directly touching the soil where they can get diseases. Or you can do as I'm doing here, use tomato cages just to keep them up. Tip number 4 is harvesting. You should harvest your green beans often, very frequently, because the more often you harvest, the more it will produce. It will give more incentive for the plant to produce more. So the plant will always want to produce more seeds for itself to propagate. So the more you harvest, the more it will produce. The younger they are, like this one here, very small, it should be much tender than the bigger ones. The bigger they are, of course, the more you can eat, but they can get to a point where they're hard. They become hard beans. And then you have to either save them for next season and plant the seeds, or you can just boil them. The smaller ones are so tender that you can just eat them raw like that, just from the bush directly. Pretty tasty. Or of course, you can boil them or cook them, stir fry them the way we want. Which brings me to my tip number 5. At the end of the season, the same way I do with all my other veggies and everything else really in my backyard, I leave 1 or 2 or 3 or a few fruits to dry, to grow all the way, just like I showed you with my okra. Here, I'm already getting close to the end of my season, so I have here one really big green bean, and I'm going to let this one grow all the way and dry out and produce seeds so I can use it for next season. So this is what I do with all my veggies, and green beans are no different. You can definitely let it grow until the seeds are dry enough and the green bean is dry enough that you can just harvest the seed from inside and save for next season. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to send you 1 green bean by mail for free wherever in the world you are. Just kidding. I'll send you 2. Maybe, if you pay the shipping costs. Subscribe to the channel and enjoy your garden.